sipping on some teaser. I command you to go follow me on all of my social medias at Spencer Terleague, no spaces and no capital letters.
Lucas Oil official motocross video game, right? I could only imagine. God, this is what we all want. This is going out to all you, big motocross gaming corporations and companies. I don't care if you're MX versus ATV or Milestone or whatever, which, it's kind of funny because MX versus ATV kind of did do this with their, national replica DLC, whatever you want to call it, right? But they didn't have every single track of the series, and it was just kind of like a side DLC thing. I certainly think having a full-blown Lucas Oil Pro motocross game would be like on a whole nother level, right? And I'm just kind of confused as to why Milestone hasn't done this yet, because how Milestone is. They're so like business spreadsheet, let's make a bunch of money kind of a company, right? With a lot of the, you've seen it with a lot of their DLC plans, a lot of their different stuff they've done in the past. It's like, Milestone, you do realize if you announce a Lucas Oil official pro motocross game, you're going to have just as much or more hype than you had for the very first official Supercross game, which was literally through the roof and a half to the moon and back. Okay? Like, there is nothing you could do. It don't matter what you do with any of your next, like, MXGP games or whatever. There's nothing you could do that would even come close to matching the hype of announcing an official Lucas Oil Pro motocross game. And I know there's a bunch of guys out there that are like, oh, they can't do it because of this, or oh, the license of FIM won't let them do it because of this, or they can't do it because of that. Dog, do you work at Milestone? That's what I thought. So you're really just speculating in a way because you don't really know. Now, if you're somebody that actually works at Milestone and you're like fucking, you're chilling, and you want to comment on this video, I'm cool with that. Now, if you want to be like, well, we can't do it because of this or whatever, but some of you dudes getting all these random, ideas in your head, even though you might be right in a way, I'm just saying, they can always work out different deals. They can always try to make it work in some sort of a way, like just saying, oh, well, they don't have the license, or they can't get the license, or, oh my God, they can't do that because FIM, whatever. Like, dog, just to say that and be like, oh, well, we're never going to get that game. That's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Like, I mean, what I'm trying to get at is, and the interesting thing here is, right, Milestone getting under the same parent company as MX versus ATV, right, with THQ Nordic, they already have some sort of a license to be able to have the official, Lucas Oil National tracks, because we got them with MX versus ATV All Out with DLC. So they already have the access and the ability to get that. So it's interesting when you think like we have to be getting some sort of in the next MX vs. ATV game or in a future Milestone game pretty soon, we have to be getting, replica Lucas Oil National tracks again in some kind of way. I mean, you would just imagine, because they already have the MX vs. ATV already has the license for that. And I just think them being under the same parent company as MX vs. ATV, Milestone being under the same parent company, is only going to help Milestone be able to potentially make an official Lucas Oil Pro motocross game, right? I mean, let's just be honest right now. Do we really want another MXGP official motocross video game? We've just had so many of those. We're on like MXGP fucking, what is it, 6, 7 now? If you don't count the Supercross games, there's quite a few of them, dude. Like, we've already been down those roads, had all those tracks in these games multiple times. I mean, yeah, it would be interesting to see like the newer, Milestone actually having inertia to their bikes, physics system in a newer, like, MXGP motocross game. It certainly would be cool to see that, but come on now, dogs. I know I'm turning about 99% of you boys on just by even mentioning the thought of an official Lucas Oil Pro motocross video game, right? Just even mentioning that idea to you guys. I know it just gets everybody hyped up. Like, if they did it right, that's the key thing to this whole thing, right? And it's kind of like, with the whole, they're going to have to get their shit together with actual pre-made roughness, pre-made braking bumps, pre-made acceleration bumps, bigger jump filling versus what they've had in their MXGP games. They're going to have to get their shit together with pre-made ruts, which they have been basically completely, how the fuck did I just wreck right there? Which have been completely basically non-existent in any of their Milestone, MXGP motocross games. Like, Milestone has been, and you just have to admit, dude, this is not even just opinionated shit. All you got to do is look at their games, dog. They have not had a good track record of really putting in solid pre-made roughness or solid pre-made ruts or And I mean, until this Supercross 3 game, they hadn't really had a big history of having skill gap Supercross rhythms or skill gapped whoops. I mean, they still don't really have super skill gapped whoops or anything like that, right? So, it's they're going to have to get their shit together. They kind of got away with it a little bit with their MXGP games, not really having too much pre-made ruts, pre-made roughness and stuff, but that's what Lucas Oil Official Pro Motocross is all about, dog. You can't just come in here and have smooth-ass, flat, no corner, no rut, no roughness, no big jump motocross tracks in a Lucas Oil Official Pro Motocross video game. You can't have that. And on top of all that, you have to have roughness that can actually cause you to wreck. You have to have ruts that can actually cause you to wreck. If the physics and the inertia of the bike don't even allow for there to be that sort of skill gappy separator, sketchy feeling when you're wide ass open on roughness and shit, if there's not even the ability to wreck on it, or the ruts aren't big enough to really grab you or cross rut or anything like that, then you're not really capturing it anyways. You might have the tracks like that, but the damn bike's not even reacting properly enough over it to even matter. See what I'm saying? So it's kind of a combination of both things I feel like that they really need, but so far the closest thing we basically got to any of that is MX vs. ATV All Out DLC and then, the Reflex custom tracks, like that right there, just cross rut just a little bit and wham, you're going on the ground, dog. All this roughness is actually, it makes you have to think. This is what I've been talking about. This is one of my biggest complaints with all Milestone games. Up until Supercross 3, they started getting their shit together with this element, but they don't even capture the essence of whatever kind of game they're making, okay? So let me explain this to you. To me, motocross is all about the roughness and the ruts and the, 100-foot tabletops and the Luraco leaps and the kickers over jump faces and the sand rollers, and that's what motocross is all about to me. So if you just come out with a motocross game, all the other MXGP games, and they don't have hardly any of that kind of skill gap or any of that sort of track design, you really don't have a whole lot of anything. You understand what I'm saying? And when it comes to Supercross, that's all about you've got to have jump rhythm skill gap, and you've got to have negative side effects to coming up short on big Supercross jumps, and you've got to have whoop skill gap on Supercross, tracks and shit. And that's what Supercross is all about to me, is really being able to hit triple ends out of a corner where you got to really huck the bike, you got to lean forward and lean back, and that's what they've been totally missing in their first 2 Supercross games. There's just hardly any skill gap and really having to maneuver the bike to really separate yourself from other people. So in a way, up until this point, I know they've improved on all of those aspects with Supercross 3, but up until this point, Milestone has just not even captured the real essence, track design-wise, of motocross or Supercross, when you really think about it. Yeah, the graphics look cool, yeah, by all means, best graphics out there, all that kind of shit is cool, the stadiums, the all of that. The visual effects are all cool, but when you look at the actual track designs themselves terrain-wise and the way the bike reacts over it and how skill gappy it feels, it's just not capturing the essence of real motocross or Supercross whatsoever in all of those Milestone games before Supercross 3. Supercross 3 has definitely improved on it some with the more skill gappy rhythms. You've got a seat bounce hucking system to it, so it's really improved the game. But that's what, a lot of you guys just don't even realize that stuff. That's what makes motocross tracks in these games fun, is roughness and pre-made ruts and skill gappy big motocross ruddy kickered out tabletops. That's what makes this shit fun. If you just got there with a perfectly flat motocross track, no roughness, small jumps like all these MXGP games, you're gonna be bored as shit, dude. And that's what you've seen. And if you come out with a supercross game that you can underjump, overjump anything, never pop off the bike, and there's hardly any leaning forward and backwards hucking system, and there's no real jump rhythm skill gap or whoop skill gap, then you don't really have anything, aka the first two supercross games. Dogs, this just is what it is. This is not even like, oh damn, Spence, what are you talking about? Like, that's just your opinion. Oh, blah blah. Like, dude, it's just factual. It's just the way the games are. I don't know what else to tell you. It is just the way those games are. Period, man. Like, you're living in some fairy tale land if you're thinking otherwise than that. If you're thinking the first two Supercross games really had, like, you know, skill gap and rhythm, skill gappy rhythms and skill gap whoops and like negative effects to coming up short and over jumping too far and, you know, penalizing you for coming up short and losing momentum and having to really huck the bike up to jump stuff, you're living in a fairy tale land if you think that's how the first two Supercross games were. And you're living in some kind of fairy tale, you know, imagination land if you thought any of those MXGP games actually had, like, skill gappy roughness or, you know, really hardcore pre-made ruts or bigger, like, skill gappy motocross jumps and shit. You are living in some other fairy tale dimension if you think that, because that's just not what it is. It's just not what it is. This is not even like a, oh, well, this is just my opinion. They just don't have quite enough inside ruts, or they just don't have quite enough roughness. They don't have any of it. That's the thing. It's like, that's what I'm getting at. They don't have any of it, dog. Like, it ain't till Supercross 3. That's the first game I've ever really seen any kind of an inside rut on any milestone game. Yeah, they might have had one on one little compound track on MXGP Pro or some bullshit. I don't know. But for the most part, dog, they've just been completely missing the ruts and roughness and skill gap jumps to their motocross games. So the point being here is, like, they're going to have to get their shit together as far as track design wise, right? Like, in skill gappy filling and having to figure out how you're leaning over roughness and having skill gap to not everybody in their 90-year-old grandma can just hold it wide open around every single motocross corner. You know, you've got to have that skill gap of that thought process of, like, damn, what rut am I going to go into? Damn, I got to be patient, like, before I go in the rut, really find the rut that I'm going to go into, you know, get on my brakes at the right time. Like, you know, you can see me struggling here on this reflex track. Like, this is more the skill gap you got to have, dog. You don't just want that, like, you're just going around the track, never wrecking on ruts, never wrecking on roughness, never wrecking on a jump, never wrecking anywhere. Telling you, dogs, Milestone's got to get that shit figured out. And they have stepped in the right direction with Supercross 3, so I'm really hopeful for their next motocross game in that sense. But, like, dog, could you imagine, like, a damn, like taking Supercross 3's physics and graphics and all that and throwing it on, like, a super skill gappy, like, roughness Southwick style, you know, like a Southwick replica with roughness and ruts and all kinds of, you know, sand roller, you know, blowed out sand ruts and shit. Oh my God, dog, Milestone. And could you imagine, like, the rain mode on that shit, dog? Oh man, it's just like, dude, you're going to make so much more money. Whatever it takes to make an official Lucas Oil Pro Motocross game, now that you're going down these, like, official, you know, series games road that you're going down, I mean, you just got to do it at this point, man. Like, you do realize how much money you would make by doing this, right? I'm just telling you, like, you're going to have potentially more hype than you had for the first Supercross game for an official Lucas Oil Pro Motocross game. And if you come out with that early trailer of it and shit, and it's got, like, pre-made ruts and roughness, whoo, dog, just go ahead and go to the bank. Like, the money's already there, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, it doesn't take a lot, Milestone. I don't know why it's like, and of course, right, I don't want to sound too cocky here. I'm not the one over here making the motocross games. I get, you know, designing games is not the easiest thing in the world. Like, I understand it, okay? But, like, I'm just telling you, these are the things that's going to make an amazing motocross game, period. I mean, and give it longevity and replayability and, You know, the last thing they need to do is come out with a official Lucas Oil Pro motocross game and it be like those MXGP tracks that are super flat, smooth, no ruts, no roughness, no big jump skill gap. That's the last thing they want to do, dog. The last thing they need to do, right? I'm just telling you, like, they will ruin the game if they come out with it like that. It'll still get a lot of hype, but you know, it's all in that track design and how that bike reacts on that certain track design and the skill gap of it and how you can separate yourself. That's everything to a motocross game. So either way, really hope to see this at some point, Milestone. I don't know if we ever will, but man, it'd be good for everybody. It'd be big for all parties involved. It'd make you a lot of money. It would make us happier than fucking you could ever imagine, right? It'd revive your whole entire brand and everything. Oh my God, dude. Like, it would be so good for everybody. And it's just kind of crazy how, like, it's just right there. It's just right there. All they got to do is just do it. You know, they got to figure out a way to get the licensing, figure out a way to get it all where they can do it. And then it's fucking game on, dog. It is game on at that point. So hopefully they will figure that out. I mean, I understand MXGP is your baby, but man, you're gonna blow up like you ain't never thought of if you make this decision. You might have to cut off MXGP to do it. I guess you would have to do that. But, like, if you were coming out, and you would just imagine this, okay? Think about this, guys. So they're making the official Monster Energy Supercross game. You would just imagine that same company would then, in the summertime, come out with a Lucas Oil official pro motocross game. Would you not just imagine that? Would you not just think that's the way it would be versus, hey, here's the official American, official Monster Energy Supercross game, and then the summer, oh, here's the MXGP official video game. Like, what? That doesn't even really make any sense, Milestone. Like, it really doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I would certainly 100% think you, at this point, since you've done the official Supercross game, I would think you would be doing the Lucas Oil official pro motocross game. You would just think that. Like, those two series almost work in harmony in real life. Like, pretty much all the dudes that race Supercross race motocross. You know, it's like they go hand in hand. They're almost the damn same thing in a sense. They're almost the damn same, like, series in a sense, but they're just at different times of the year. I don't know. There's just so much they could do with it, but, like, man, it'd be so cool to see a game like that. So either way, appreciate all the support. Be back on the next video. You know what it is, bros.